First Contact's facade. The massive crystalline warship of the Nexari Empire emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Sol system, its polished surfaces refracting sunlight in mesmerizing patterns. Grand Marshal Zulak stood on his command bridge, his silver-scaled face reflected in the quantum displays as his sensors analyzed the primitive human vessels scattered throughout their space. Fascinating. He communicated through his neural interface to his second-in-command, Commander Vin. They're still using basic fusion drives. Their ships look like they were welded together in a primitive orbital factory. What the Nexari leader couldn't see were the quantum processors and dimensional shields hidden beneath layers of seemingly crude engineering. On the bridge of the Earth Defense Force vessel Helios Dawn, Admiral Marcus Rodriguez watched the alien vessel through specialized sensors that the Nexari believed impossible for humanity to possess. Status of Operation Masquerade. Rodriguez asked quietly, his weathered face illuminated by the soft glow of holographic displays carefully designed to appear outdated. His tactical officer, Lieutenant Rin Nakamura, responded just as softly, "All systems nominal, Admiral. Our quantum signature is completely masked. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see." For 5 years, humanity had prepared for this moment. Their quantum scouts had detected the Nexari Empire's expansion long before First Contact, giving Earth precious time to implement their boldest strategy yet. The Nexari had a history of uplifting civilizations they deemed primitive, a euphemism for technological subjugation. Their initiating contact, reported Communications Officer Diana Patel, her fingers dancing over a console that appeared to spark occasionally, all part of the carefully choreographed performance. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing Grand Marshal Zulax's imposing form. His silver scales shifted through shades of purple and gold, colors that human sinologists had long ago identified as indicating superiority and certainty. "Greetings, representatives of Earth." The alien's translator rendered his harmonics into English. "I am Grand Marshal Zulax of the Nexari Empire. We have come to offer you the benefits of our protection and guidance." Rodriguez bowed slightly, allowing a tremor of awe to enter his voice. "We are honored by your presence, Grand Marshal. I am Admiral Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force, though our capabilities are modest compared to your own." As if on cue, one of his bridge officers fumbled with their console, causing a shower of harmless sparks. Zylax's facial scales rippled in what their intelligence suggested was barely suppressed amusement. "Indeed," Zylax responded. "Our scans indicate your technology is rudimentary by our standards. But fear not. The Nexari Empire is generous with those who accept our leadership." Throughout the solar system, humanity's true fleet waited in dimensional pocket space, their quantum-linked weapons powered down but ready. Advanced sensor arrays and defense platforms lay hidden beneath the facade of outdated satellites and clumsy defense stations. "We would be grateful for any assistance you might offer," Rodriguez replied, watching as more Nexari ships emerged from hyperspace. Their formation was exactly what Earth's tactical eye had predicted, the standard pattern used by an empire that had grown overconfident through countless one-sided first contact scenarios. "Excellent." Zylax's translator rendered his pleased harmonics. "We will begin a survey of your system. Please provide us with all relevant data about your defensive capabilities and resource distribution." "Of course, Grand Marshal. We have nothing to hide." As Rodriguez's crew transmitted carefully crafted false data to the Nexari fleet, he allowed himself a small smile. The game had begun, and humanity's greatest weapon was already working perfectly, the enemy's absolute certainty in their own superiority. Hidden beneath the surface of Mars, Dr. Ji Wong monitored the quantum encryption feeds from Earth's true defense grid. The Nexari would spend weeks analyzing what they thought was the full extent of human technology, never realizing they were seeing exactly what humanity wanted them to see. "Let the show begin," she whispered, initiating the next phase of Operation Masquerade. Throughout the solar system, carefully programmed holographic crews began their performance, making the exact kinds of mistakes and showing the precise limitations that the Nexeri expected from a primitive species. The greatest deception in human history was underway, and only one side knew it was all an elaborate game. The deception deepens. The following weeks saw a carefully choreographed dance throughout the solar system. Nexeri survey ships moved methodically through Earth's territory, their crews meticulously documenting what they believed to be humanity's painfully obvious technological limitations. Commander Raven Blackwood stood in the hidden control center beneath Europa Station, watching through quantum-shielded sensors as another Nexeri scout passed overhead. The station's visible surface was a deliberate collection of crude dome structures and outdated solar arrays. Below the ice, a network of advanced quantum factories continued producing the weapons and ships that would soon be needed. Another scanning pass, her sensor officer, Lieutenant Akiko Tanaka, reported. "They're focusing on our primitive fusion reactors again." Blackwood smiled, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic displays. "Let them look. How are our performance teams doing?" Perfect synchronization. The surface crew's simulated mistakes and inefficiencies are exactly what they expect to see. Throughout the solar system, humanity's deception grew more elaborate. Cargo ships made clumsy course corrections. Patrol vessels demonstrated embarrassingly basic weapons capabilities, and communication channels were filled with carefully scripted chatter about outdated technology. Grand Marshal Zolax's reports to the Nexeri Empire grew increasingly confident. His latest transmission, intercepted by Earth's quantum arrays, spoke of a charmingly primitive species in desperate need of proper guidance. In the asteroid belt, Colonel Viktor Petrov supervised the final preparations of Strike Group Delta, 20 of Earth's most advanced warships hidden in dimensional pocket space. Their quantum-linked weapons were capable of targeting multiple ships simultaneously across vast distances, a technology the Nexeri believed impossible for any species to develop independently. "Message from Command," his communications officer announced. "The Nexeri have requested a full demonstration of Earth's defensive capabilities." Petrov's weathered face broke into a grin. "Perfect timing. Tell Admiral Rodriguez we're ready whenever he needs us." In high orbit around Saturn, the Nexeri Survey Fleet's commander, Submarshal Mara, compiled her findings with growing amusement. Her scans showed primitive fusion drives, basic particle weapons, and pitifully weak shields. The humans' attempts at space combat doctrine seemed to consist mainly of forming straight lines and simple geometric patterns. "These humans are even more primitive than we initially assessed," she reported to Xilax. "Their Europa station can barely maintain atmospheric containment. I observed their maintenance crews requiring 3 attempts to repair a simple pressure leak." The leak had been a carefully staged performance by holographic actors, monitored by quantum sensors that tracked exactly what the Nexeri were watching and modified the display accordingly. Deep within Earth's Quantum Command Center, Dr. Ji Wong reviewed the latest intelligence with Admiral Rodriguez. The Nexeri had positioned their ships exactly as predicted, their formation optimized for intimidation rather than actual combat. Their arrogance had led them to concentrate their forces in a way that would prove disastrous once Earth revealed its true capabilities. "Final status report," Rodriguez ordered. "Strike Groups Alpha through Delta report ready," Wong responded, her fingers dancing over quantum interfaces. "Weapon platforms are charged and synchronized. Dimensional shields are stable and undetected. The Nexeri still believe our orbital defense grid consists of nothing but primitive kinetic weapons and basic energy shields." Rodriguez nodded, reviewing the holographic display showing the positions of Earth's hidden forces. The Nexeri had walked into their trap with precisely the level of overconfidence humanity had spent years cultivating. "Message from Grand Marshal Zulax," Diana Patel announced from her communication station. "They're requesting a formal meeting to discuss the terms of Earth's protection." "Excellent," Rodriguez replied, his voice carrying a hint of satisfaction. "Inform all commands. Operation Masquerade enters its final phase tomorrow." Let's show our Nexari friends exactly what happens when you underestimate humanity. As the solar system grew dark, Earth's hidden fleet waited in their dimensional pockets, their crews ready and their weapons primed. The greatest naval ambush in human history was about to begin, and only one side knew it was coming. In her quarters aboard the Helios Dawn, Lieutenant Nakamura reviewed the quantum combat simulations one final time. Tomorrow would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever, but tonight, humanity would maintain its masquerade for just a few hours more. "The best deception," she murmured, reciting an old Earth military maxim, "is the one your enemy creates for themselves." The final deception. Grand Marshal Zulax's flagship descended into low Earth orbit with calculated majesty, its crystalline hull catching the sunlight in ways designed to inspire awe. Below, in the carefully staged United Earth Government chamber, human representatives adjusted their intentionally outdated formal wear and practiced their expressions of nervous anticipation. The Nexari delegation has entered the atmosphere, President Thomas Ortiz whispered to Admiral Rodriguez. Like everything else about this meeting, his whisper was deliberately loud enough to be picked up by Nexari surveillance devices. "Remember," Rodriguez replied at the same volume, "we must appear grateful for their protection. Earth cannot afford to seem uncooperative." The chamber's doors opened with a dramatic flourish as Grand Marshal Zulax entered, flanked by his most impressive warriors. Their biomechanical armor gleamed, sensors constantly scanning for threats they were certain couldn't exist. Representatives of Earth, Xilax's translator rendered his harmonics, his silver scales rippling with what human xenologists had identified as smug satisfaction. "The time has come to formalize your world's relationship with the Nexari Empire." Throughout the solar system, hidden quantum sensors tracked every movement of the Nexari fleet. In dimensional pocket space, Colonel Petrov watched as the alien ships settled into their standard intimidation formation above Earth's major cities. Just like the tactical AI predicted, Lieutenant Tanaka noted from her temporary station aboard his flagship. "They're not even maintaining proper combat spacing." "Overconfidence makes for poor strategy," Petrov replied. Status of Operation Masquerade. All strike groups report ready. Quantum weapon platforms are synchronized. We're just waiting for the signal. Back in the chamber, Xilax activated a holographic display showing Earth's solar system. "Your species has shown remarkable potential despite your technological limitations. Under our guidance, you will serve a vital role in the Empire's continued expansion." He gestured to various points in the display. "We will establish primary bases here, and here. Your existing facilities will be upgraded to proper Imperial standards. Your fleet will be integrated into our patrol forces, though naturally, they will require extensive modernization." Admiral Rodriguez allowed his face to show carefully measured concern. "And if we were to decline this generous offer?" Xilax's scales shifted to deep crimson, a color that human intelligence knew signified absolute authority. "That would be most unfortunate. While we prefer willing participation, the Empire cannot allow potentially dangerous species to develop independently. Your protection will be ensured one way or another." Through quantum encrypted channels, Rodriguez sent a single word to Earth's hidden forces: "Ready." "The terms are quite simple," Xilax continued, his translator failing to mask the predatory satisfaction in his tone. "You will immediately provide us with a complete inventory of your military assets, surrender control of your orbital defense systems, and accept Nexari oversight of all technological development. In return, you will receive the benefits of Imperial protection and guidance." President Ortiz stood, his voice wavering. "And how long do we have to consider these terms?" "Consider?" Xilax's harmonics clicked in amusement. "My dear primitive friends, you misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. You have one planetary rotation to begin the integration process. Any delay or resistance will be met with appropriate force." As if on cue, the chamber's primitive viewing screen showed Nexari warships moving into position above Earth's major cities, their weapon ports opened in a synchronized display of power energy signatures pulsing in what they assumed would be a terrifying light show. "Of course," Ortiz replied, bowing deeply. "We will inform our people immediately. Earth accepts your protection." Xylax's scales rippled with pleasure. "Excellent. You show wisdom beyond your technological level. Prepare your facilities for immediate inspection. The Empire will begin upgrading your pathetic defenses tomorrow." As the Nexeri delegation departed, Admiral Rodriguez sent another encrypted message through quantum channels. "Operation Masquerade is go. All units prepare for Phase 1. Show these arrogant bastards exactly what humanity is capable of." Dr. Wong, monitoring from the Quantum Command Center, began the final system checks. Throughout the solar system, hidden in dimensional pockets the Nexeri believed impossible to create, humanity's true fleet powered up their weapons. The greatest military deception in human history was about to reach its climax. All quantum weapon platforms synchronized, she reported through the secure channel. Dimensional shields at full power. Strike groups Alpha through Delta report final position achieved. We are ready to proceed on your command, Admiral. In orbit, Commander Naira's final report to the Grand Marshal summed up the Nexeri's fatal misunderstanding. These humans are exactly what we expected, a primitive species desperate for guidance, barely able to maintain their own technology. The integration should proceed without incident. If she had known about the quantum-linked weapons currently targeting her ship from dimensional pocket space, she might have chosen her words more carefully. The revelation. The Nexeri fleet hung in Earth's orbit like a constellation of crystalline daggers, their weapon ports still glowing from their display of force. Grand Marshal Xylax stood on his command deck, watching with satisfaction as his ships maintained their intimidation formation above Earth's major cities. "Begin the integration process," he ordered. "Have our engineering teams prepare to upgrade their pathetic orbital defenses." Suddenly, his sensor officer's scales flickered in confusion. "Grand Marshal, I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the lunar surface. Probably their primitive fusion reactors struggling to maintain power," Xylax dismissed. "These humans can barely." His words cut off as the seemingly crude lunar base shimmered and disappeared, replaced by a massive complex of quantum weapon platforms. Throughout the solar system, dimensional pockets began to collapse, revealing Earth's true fleet. "Impossible," Xylax whispered, his scales paling to ash gray. "Their technology. They couldn't have." Admiral Rodriguez's voice crackled through all Nexeri communication channels, his previous tone of submission replaced by steel. "Grand Marshal Xylax, perhaps we should discuss different terms." Hundreds of Earth's most advanced warships emerged from dimensional space, their quantum-linked weapons already locked on target. The bulky, primitive vessels the Nexeri had observed for weeks vanished, revealed as nothing more than elaborate holograms. All ships, battle formations. Xylax screamed, but it was too late. His fleet was completely surrounded, caught in the same ceremonial pattern they had used to intimidate countless other species. "Strike Group Alpha, execute," Rodriguez ordered. Colonel Petrov's vessels struck first, their quantum weapons firing in perfect synchronization. Beams of energy that the Nexeri had believed impossible for any species to harness lanced through space, bypassing shields and striking with surgical precision. 20 Nexeri vessels disabled. Lieutenant Tanaka reported calmly. "Their weapon systems and engines are offline. No casualties." Throughout the solar system, Earth's hidden fleet revealed itself. Strike Group Delta emerged from dimensional space near Mars, their advanced ships making the Nexeri vessels look primitive by comparison. Strike Group Delta engaging secondary targets. Petrov's voice joined the command channel. "Clean shots only. We want to disable, not destroy." Xylax watched in horror as his fleet's supposedly superior weapons bounced harmlessly off Earth's quantum shields. "How?" he demanded. "You were primitive. We saw your technology." "You saw what we wanted you to see," Rodriguez replied. "For years, we've watched your empire expand. observed how your arrogance led you to underestimate species after species. We prepared accordingly. The Nexari command ship shuddered as precision strikes disabled its primary systems. Throughout the fleet, carefully targeted quantum beams shut down ship after ship, leaving crews unharmed but completely powerless. Status report, Rodriguez commanded. 80% of Nexari vessels disabled. Dr. Wong responded from the Quantum Command Center. Remaining ships are standing down. No casualties on either side. This is impossible. Xilax chittered, his translator struggling to convey his shock. Your species, you were barely capable of interstellar flight. A species that appears harmless isn't necessarily helpless, Grand Marshal. Rodriguez replied. Perhaps it's time for the Nexari Empire to reconsider its policy of judging civilizations by their apparent level of technology. From her station aboard the Europa facility, Commander Blackwood watched as the last Nexari ships powered down their weapons. Operation Masquerade complete, she reported. All objectives achieved. The Nexari fleet is completely neutralized. President Ortiz's voice joined the command channel, all pretense of weakness gone from his tone. Admiral Rodriguez, please extend our invitation to Grand Marshal Xilax to join us for a new round of negotiations, this time as equals. In the Quantum Command Center, Dr. Wong allowed herself a small smile as she monitored the power signatures of the disabled Nexari fleet. You know what the fascinating thing is? She mused to her staff. We only revealed about half of our actual capabilities. Sometimes the best deterrent is letting them wonder what else we might be hiding. The greatest military deception in human history had succeeded beyond their wildest expectations. As rescue shuttles moved to assist the stranded Nexari crews, Admiral Rodriguez drafted his first message to the Nexari Empire's Central Command. Your fleet is disabled but unharmed. Your people are safe. Now shall we discuss a new framework for interstellar relations, one based on mutual respect rather than technological intimidation. A new dawn. In the weeks following what became known as the Terran Revelation, the balance of power in the galaxy shifted dramatically. The Great Hall of the United Earth Government, no longer maintaining its facade of primitive construction, hosted representatives from both humanity and the Nexari Empire for unprecedented peace talks. Grand Marshal Xilax, his once proud silver scales now a humble shade of blue-gray, sat across from Admiral Rodriguez and President Ortiz. The chamber's quantum holographic displays showed real-time updates from across the solar system as Earth's fleet helped restore power to the disabled Nexari ships. Your deception was complete, Xilax admitted, his translator conveying genuine respect. Never in the Empire's history have we encountered such strategic brilliance. We had good teachers, Rodriguez replied. Your Empire's own history showed us exactly how to appear harmless. Every species you've subjugated provided us with another lesson in what you expect from primitive civilizations. The holographic displays shifted to show Earth's true defensive capabilities. Quantum factories throughout the solar system continued producing advanced technology that the Nexari had believed impossible. Ships moved freely through dimensional pocket space, their quantum-linked weapons maintaining a vigilant watch. But why maintain such an elaborate deception? Commander Nera asked from her position among the Nexari delegation. With your technology, you could have dominated us from the start. Dr. Wong stepped forward, her presence now openly acknowledged as Earth's chief quantum physicist, because we wanted to break the cycle. Your Empire's habit of judging species by their apparent technological level has led to countless unnecessary conflicts. We chose to demonstrate a better way. Reports flowed in from across Nexari space. The revelation of Earth's true capabilities had sparked a revolution in imperial thinking. Worlds previously dismissed as primitive were being reassessed. The Empire's policy of technological superiority as a basis for diplomacy was crumbling. The terms we offer are simple, President Ortiz continued. Earth will share some of our technological advancements, gradually and responsibly. In return, the Nexari Empire will reform its first contact protocols. No more subjugation, No more protective guidance of species you deem inferior. Colonel Petrov, watching from his command ship near Mars, observed the Nexari delegation's reactions through quantum sensors. Their biosignatures showed genuine shock, awe, and most importantly, respect. "And if we refuse?" Xilax asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "Then nothing changes," Rodriguez replied calmly. "Earth has revealed only a fraction of its true capabilities. We remain perfectly capable of defending ourselves and our allies. But we prefer cooperation to conflict." In orbit, Commander Blackwood supervised the restoration of the Nexari fleet. Their ships, once thought superior, were being upgraded with carefully selected Earth technologies, a gesture of good faith for the new era of cooperation. "It's strange," Lieutenant Tanaka remarked, watching Earth's quantum engineers at work. "We thought we were protecting ourselves from an empire, but we ended up teaching them a lesson about humility." The peace talks concluded with the signing of the Terra-Nexari Accords. The agreement would reshape galactic politics, establishing new protocols for interspecies contact based on mutual respect rather than technological assessment. As the Nexari delegation prepared to depart, Xilax approached Admiral Rodriguez one last time. "You could have destroyed us," he said quietly. "Why show mercy?" Rodriguez's response encapsulated humanity's philosophy. Because true power isn't about destruction. It's about having the capability for violence, but choosing peace instead. Earth didn't want to prove we were stronger than the Nexari Empire. We wanted to prove there was a better way for advanced civilizations to interact with others. Dr. Wong, watching from her quantum laboratory beneath the lunar surface, made a final entry in her project log. Operation Masquerade succeeded beyond our expectations. Not only did we protect Earth, but we also catalyzed a fundamental change in how advanced civilizations approach first contact. Sometimes, the greatest victory isn't in winning a war, but in preventing all future wars. The Nexari ships departed Earth's orbit, their crews forever changed by the experience. Throughout the galaxy, the story spread, how humanity had orchestrated the greatest military deception in known history, not to dominate, but to teach. In the years that followed, Earth emerged as a different kind of galactic power, one that judged civilizations not by their apparent capabilities, but by their potential for growth and cooperation. As the new era dawned, Admiral Rodriguez stood at his favorite viewport aboard the Helios Dawn, watching Earth's true fleet patrol openly alongside their former adversaries. "You know what the best part is," he said to President Ortiz. "They're still wondering what else we might be hiding." And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, other advanced civilizations began reconsidering their approach to first contact, learning from the lesson Earth had taught the Nexari. True strength lies not in subjugation, but in the wisdom to choose peace when you have the power for war.